Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Monday night. My name is Harlequin Murray, for those of you who have not joined us before. And if you are new here, welcome. We're glad you joined us and look forward to getting a chance to get to know all of you. But I am your co-host this evening, and I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing our senior team leader and my personal enroller, and that is Miss Ellen Winn. And for those of you who are new here, just a little bit about her background. She grew up in Dallas, Georgia on her family's farm, which is just outside of the Atlanta area. And whenever she got out of school, she went to work in the restaurant industry, worked her way up, and was working with Domino's and was a regional manager and a training director with them. And then she ended up deciding, you know what, I think I can do this on my own. And she opened up her own pizza restaurant and had a couple locations and had that for a long time. But so she's been a business owner for, gosh, over 20, 30 years now, something like that. And she was introduced to network marketing and about 20, 25 years ago. And she has been a business owner ever since. Whenever I met her, she was the national training director for a network marketing company, and she was my upline then. So I have known her for, gosh, 18 years now, I think it is. And she has helped train thousands and thousands of people. She's got a huge organization here in DAC. And we are very blessed to have her and all of her knowledge and training experience. So without further ado, Miss Ellen Winn, why don't you take it away?
Hey, Harlequin, can you give me about 1 more minute? Go through the updates about the website, if you don't mind. I'm trying to finish up the last slide that's very important.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will do that. So just so everybody knows, if you weren't on this morning's Zoom, if you didn't listen to it, I would highly recommend watching that. But one of the highlights is that we will be switching to our new website and back office sometime during the day or sometime before tomorrow evening. So that will be up and running by midnight tomorrow night. But for the most part, the website is going to be very similar. Your name is going to be below the menu rather than above it. And they've made some tweaks to make everything look a little bit more cohesive. So each page looks pretty much the same. And then the other thing is that the back office will be completely different. So you might want to take a look at that. Ellen's going to be sending out a notification to everybody whenever that does happen. So you can just go and take a minute and kind of play around and see what it looks like in the back. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. But Ellen, are you ready yet?
Another 30 seconds or so.
Okay.
Anything? Right. Why don't day out of today's Zoom that really stuck out? Out of all the different things David talked about?
Out of all the things David talked about.
Or any of the testimonials that you heard?
Yeah, question. Well, one thing I'll share, and I shared a little bit of this earlier, David was talking about how much, he's like, yes, we can go and sell products and have a big cost to getting started with DAC, but we don't have that. So we're not asking people to come up with extra money to join a bit or to get started with us. And one thing I shared was, I got my 1099 from DAC. I haven't received my other 1099 from the longevity side of things, but even with that one, I've made more money in DAC than I have any other year in my 31-year career in network marketing. So there is money to be made, people, and you just got to go out there and work it, and it will come. But the other thing, David was talking about, different things going on with ERC, and we've changed the flow of that a little bit, and they are tweaking things so that we will get a little bit more detailed notifications as to the exact status, because there's multiple ways that, they could be waiting on documentation. And he was talking about how it could be that they haven't received it from the client, or it's being reviewed by ERC pros, or it's waiting on some other, either the CPA review or the tax attorney review. So they're going to be giving us a little bit more detailed notifications as to what the status is on those. So I see you on screen. So does that mean you're ready, Miss Ellen?
It does mean I'm ready. Yeah.
I know you've had a really busy afternoon with all of your clients. So
I've had a busy afternoon and a busy morning leading up to our Zoom at noon or 11:30, and just haven't had time to play catch up. So thank you, Harlequin. And thank you to everyone that's here tonight. I appreciate you guys getting on. I've got some good stuff to cover. I'll go ahead and get us kicked off since we've already a little bit behind here, and some great information there, Harlequin. Appreciate you covering that. So I'm going to get us into screen share mode and get us kicked off with what I normally do each week, and that is starting out with our top recruiters. Recruiting and building a team is the lifeline of our business. As David was talking today about gathering customers, that's really what our focus is. But if we have just a small agent base, that means we're limited on the number of customers that we have. So recruiting and having massive numbers of agents join DAC across this country means that we have more word of mouth marketing going on, more feet on the street, so to speak. So it really is the distribution model that we have in place. So recruiting is very important for us to be able to bring on the number of clients that we need to do to be able to be that leading company in the years to come, as I know we will be, because DAC is going to be, David Allen Capital is going to be before this year is out, because of what is about to happen with us. So pay attention and get focused and go stay the course with us, because DAC is going to give you an opportunity to make more money than you've ever imagined. Our top recruiters for the week, and this is for the week of the 23rd through the 29th. So last Monday through yesterday. And in first place, last week, Joshua was on the leaderboard. He had 4 system in place now, and also not only does he have his recruiting system in place, but he has his reach out and team communication system in place. Listening to him sounds very similar to what I'm doing, which is sending out emails to new recruits, sending them a text message so they can get in touch with them, and he's sending out a checklist of what they need to be doing to get them pointed in the right direction. So congratulations, Joshua, for bringing on 58 new recruits. I know you got a lot of online marketing going to make that happen, but man, what a great number there. And that type of recruiting, and you have a system in place to through the training system. Great job. In second place, we had Jessica Saxton with 4 new agents. Congratulations, Jessica. And in third place, we had a 2-way tie with DeAnthony Thomas and Shahira Savannah, both with 2 new agent recruits. You had to have at least 2 agents to make get named on the leaderboard here. But all in all, last week we had 18 people who had at least 1 new recruit, and a total of 80 new agents join our team. Some of that may be recruiting numbers and the number of people that are recruiting. Some of that may be that there's been some hesitancy because of the website change and updates going on. But guys, do not hold back. Do not wait. Tomorrow afternoon, by end of business day, we'll have our new websites up, as Harlequin mentioned, the new back office. We'll talk about that in just a second on what you're going to see. But it's time to move forward and be recruiting. The new back office tomorrow is going to mean that we're going to have the ability to do recruiting in Canada without having to do the bypass that we're currently doing. So the websites will work the same. So again, don't hold back. Your davidallencapital.com/ID number or URL is going to work the same tomorrow as it works today, right? The main difference will be that ribbon at the top of the page and what you see when you click on agent login. Now, a lot of new agents confuse logging into the back office with the Agent Resource Center. Our Agent Resource Center is a freestanding page. It is not connected to the back office or any of the systems that we have right now. So none of that is going to change other than continual updates and enhancements with new training and new social media images and new PDFs and so on to help you grow. So the Agent Resource Center is freestanding. There's no login required, but the back office login is what you see at the bottom of the page. That's where you can log in with your username or URL and your password. That's where you've been able to update your profile. That's what's going to be changing tomorrow. That's going to be the biggest thing that you see different by end of day tomorrow. So continue on business as usual. But I do want to go through some very important information. So please pay attention. And when we finish this, I'm going to send this Zoom replay out tonight. This is a part of the training that I've sent out on the DAC website. But now that we're making another transition, it's imperative that you and everybody on your team pay close attention. When we made the transition, those of you that are brand new may not realize at the end of December, David Allen Capital did a separation, a marketing separation from a company that we had been partnered with for about 5 years. Agreement with them, that marketing agreement that we had, which was Longevity, their nutritional company, we were using their back office systems. And when we moved forward and decided in that company not having that marketing relationship anymore was going to be better for DAC, then it meant that we had to have our own back office. And the contract was signed. It only gave us about 21 days to make the transition technology wise. So it happened on January the 1st, and we didn't realize that it's going to make the URLs that were out there, it was going to change the way the URLs worked. Okay. So the website links today work the same as they did when we were with Longevity, as long as you're following what we teach. And that's what I want to emphasize, teach, and what you need to make sure of tonight as we're going into a transition tomorrow. I want to make sure you check all of your links to make sure that you're not making this common mistake. So every one of our services has its own unique URL. So when you're talking to somebody about the employee retention credit, or you're talking to them about the equipment financing or asset-backed funding, you can click on that link on your website. It's going to create a new URL, and it's going to automatically populate your information at the end. But it's also going to add some additional characters, and those additional characters are going to mess you up if you don't pay attention right now. Okay. So when you're sending your link or posting on social media, redirecting your domain, if you've got a domain pointed over to your David Allen Capital site or any of that, you always want to just use the page link / your ID or your URL name. If you started on January the 1st or later, you were given the opportunity and had to create a URL name, right? So for example, if you're sending someone to your business capital link, when you share it, when you point a domain to it, or whatever you're doing with it, it should just be davidallencapital.com / business capital / your agent ID or your URL, whichever one of those you're supposed to be using based on your timeline. January 1st, after it's your / your URL, before January 1st / your ID number. Okay.
Ellen, one thing I will point out, because I know you had a client with you, with the new website, everyone will be allowed to use their agent ID or their URL.
I got that. I got
Okay.
that. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be exactly the same, but here's what may not be the same. And that is when someone clicks on your link, the web page loads in the browser. So if you send out davidallencapital.com/business-capital URL name, okay, when the page loads, it adds additional characters such as question mark, you equal, ampersand, you equal, etc. They automatically get added. And this is a normal part of the replication process that carries your information throughout every page, different pages around in your website. But those additional characters caused a problem when people with the previous technology moved over on January the 1st with this new web hosting. It caused a problem if people carried on those additional characters. We've always trained, do not use those additional characters, but not everyone listens to the training. So I'm re-emphasizing tonight, do not have your links out there with any of these additional characters in the URL or in a domain redirect, or maybe you have a signature in your email with hyperlink over to your website. Make sure, just go check all of this stuff and make sure that you don't have those additional characters added in those links, okay? So never want to copy directly from the web browser and share that link. You should always just end it in your ID or your URL like this, davidallencapital.com/ID or URL name, not like this, copied from the browser where it has the question mark you equal, right? You want to remove those characters before you send it out. /tax credit / your ID or URL name, not tax credit question mark equal you equal ampersand you equal. Okay, you get the message here. Just make sure that your URLs are clean. Otherwise, tomorrow afternoon, when we see this transition over, you're going to be panicking and you're going to be going, oh, my website's not working. No, your website will be working. It'll be the fact that you didn't listen to training and you didn't follow what we're teaching. So pay attention and go look at your links and make sure they're nice and clean and not adding in the additional characters. Okay. Let me see. All right. So that's enough on my soapbox of the web links. And guys, I can't tell you, this is such a hot topic for me from the beginning of my business here with David Allen Capital. I have seen people misusing their links from day one, not listening. We've always taught just / your ID or your URL. But I continuously see agents that are just copying whatever because it's obvious that they haven't gone through the training. So make sure that that's not you, and make sure you're not one of the ones screaming out tomorrow that your site's not working, because it will be. Fingers crossed that there won't be any hitches in that. There shouldn't be. But you know, keep an eye out on your team. If you're communicating with anybody in your team, when you see their emails, just click on their links and see if they're working. Or if you've got team members in your organization and you know their social pages, go click on their links and properly send them a message. And for characters out is going to affect the way your page populates moving forward. Okay. All right. The next thing I want to talk about tonight is ERC bonuses. David touched on this today, and I believe he touched on it Friday too. After I actually had a conversation with him saying ERC talking about paying what we pay as a percent.
Ellen, I'm going to interrupt you for a second because you keep fading out. So I'm going to turn your video off.
Okay, just turn my video off and let me keep talking. I'm good. Thank you. Because I can't see that I'm on camera one way or the other. And I know when y'all are looking, all you're seeing is this little bitty talking head up there. So thank you, Harlequin, so that everything is nice and clear. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's just intermittently going out. So.
Okay, but is my audio coming through okay, or is it intermittently going out?
It's the audio that's intermittently going out.
Okay. I got a bad cable. I reconnected my computer yesterday. I have a new desk, and couldn't get things to work, and come to find out I had a bad HDMI cable that was causing issues. So maybe I have a bad cable on my speaker here too. All right. But David and I were talking about the ERC bonuses, and I said, you know, we only talk about the percentage that we earn out of the credit amount, which we talk about it being 4%. You can earn 4 to 6% of the credit. But a lot of our competitors in this space, meaning other companies that are marketing the employee retention credit and are recruiting agents to market the employee retention credit, are presenting how they pay differently, and it confuses people. So we're going to start talking about it on both terms. And I want to go through tonight and show you exactly what David was talking about so that you can fully understand our compensation plan. For example, on this screen, I have example of a client receiving a $2 million credit. Okay. The client will pay DAC a 20% contingency fee, meaning that they're going to pay $400,000. 20% of 2 million is $400,000, right? And that means that the DAC agent is going to earn 4% of the credit amount, 4% of the 400,000. I'm sorry, 4% of the 2 million is the credit amount, is $80,000 that the agent earns. Okay. Of the contingency fee. So I know you're probably going, okay, this is real confusing. Let me clear it up for you. Okay. Here's an example on a $400,000, $2 million one, because I watched a business presentation of another company that pays 10% of the contingency fee. And somebody sent me a screenshot, and they're going, they're making 10% and we're making 4%. And I'm going to show you why that 10% is small in comparison to what we pay here. So here's the example. On a $400,000 credit, that minimum of 4%, okay, is $16,000 that you would earn as an agent. But you can earn more by moving up the ranks with personal clients. 4%, remember, 4% of what the client receives, but 20% of, of the contingency fee. Okay. And as you move up the line, it can be a funded, have one qualifying client with at least 10,000 in funded value. That's going to move you up to DAC 1. And as a DAC 1, you're going to now earn 4.4% of the credit, or 22% contingency fee. After you have to DAC 2, after you have 2 clients and a total funded value of 20 to DAC 2, where you earn 4.6% of the credit, which equates to 23% of the contingency fee. Okay. 10% of the contingency fee presented by this other company, and 23% of the contingency fee here at David Allen Capital. As you move on up the ranks and you have 4 clients, funded value of at least 40,000, and that's an aggregate cumulative total of funded value. So you could have 4 that had 10,000 each, or you could have 3 of them had 6,000 each, and 1 of them had 50,000. It would put you over that 4 rank, right? And as a DAC 4, and we have many DAC 4s in the company, this is the highest rank that you can reach in the compensation plan without ever building a team. You can get to DAC 4 on your own production. In fact, that's how you get to DAC 4, is by having personal clients. When you get to DAC 4, you make 5.2% of the credit amount. On this case, the credit was 400,000. So you would make 5.2% of that. But that also equates to 26% of the contingency fee that the client paid. Move on up, promote to DAC AD at building a team. That moves you to 5.4% of the credit and 27% of the contingency fee. DAC RD, 5.6% of the credit amount, 28% of the contingency fee. DAC ND, 5.8% of the credit that the client receives which equates to 29% of the contingency fee. And as a DAC RVP, you make 6% of what the client receives back, which is 30% of the fee that is charged by ERC pros. So I just wanted to put that out there tonight in comparison so that you can see it in a side-by-side example so that it's crystal clear on what you make when you promote ERC through David Allen Capital versus some of the other companies out there. And in my other companies, there's just no to me why anybody would consider promoting ERCs with another company when you've got such a huge opportunity with David Allen Capital. I'm going to turn the camera off. If I disconnect that audio, Harlequin.
You're coming across a lot louder.
I am now.
Oh, much louder. Yeah.
I'm much louder. Okay. Wow. The other mic was right there at me. So maybe it's an issue with that microphone then. Okay. So, yeah, I don't understand why somebody would want to promote with someone else. You know, over the past few weeks, as you were alluding to, Harlequin, about the process with the ERC pros, there were some bumps along the way, bringing them on and the process is in place. But I'm telling you, it is smooth now. I sat with a client on Friday. I sat down with a client and we walked through the application together. I watched them fill it out. In fact, I sent out a video the other day, 15-minute walkthrough showing you exactly what the client sees. The only thing I didn't show you was after they submit and it goes to the confirmation page at ERC Pros, that screen tells them to go check their email and look for their message to get their canopy set up. So it's real smooth. There's nothing that should hold them up and prevent them from starting on the David Allen Capital page and moving straight on over to the ERC Pros. Once they get into that ERC Pros portal and they submit that, now you have the ERC team reaching out to those clients on your behalf. They're reaching out by email, they're reaching out by phone call. Some of the other companies, I've talked to agents that didn't want to promote the DAC ERC opportunity because they're like, well, all I've got to do with the other company is get my client to do a three-way call with the ERC team and they take it from there. Okay, what's the difference now? Okay, you're not connecting them with a phone call. You're just connecting them through an application process. You could stay on the phone with them and say, let me connect you with the ERC team. Have you got a minute in front of your computer? Great, let me send you a link. Send the link over to them, have them fill it out while you're on the phone. Once they fill out the first one, answer 4 questions. One of those 4 has to be yes for them to qualify. Once they answer those 4 questions, then it goes straight over to ERC Pros website, where now they're going to list their business name, the business owner, have an opportunity to add any other companies if they own other companies, their preferred contact. If they don't want to be the one contacted, they have an office manager or they have their CPA or whoever. They can list their preferred contact that they want dealing with this. Once they fill out that basic information, it's not asking how many employees they had. It's not asking any information. So it's information that they should know off the top of their head. One exception that they might not know off the top of their head, and that's their EIN number. But it'll allow them to submit it without having their EIN number. I watched my client do that, right? They submit that, and as soon as they hit submit, now the ERC team is going to start having that same conversation that that other company that says just three-way them in and do a phone call with them, and then the ERC team will take over. So there's no difference other than you can do the same amount of work as an agent and earn far less money. So what I'm seeing from the other ERC companies out there is that they charge the clients the same or more in most cases, and they pay the agents less. So had you rather have your client keep more of their refund and you get paid more as an agent, or had you rather your client have to pay more and you earn less? Just saying. Okay, I'm off my soapbox on that. Today's been a day of soapboxes, right, Harlequin? Because David was on a roll, and we've just got some great things coming. I think sometimes we don't pay close enough attention to the very details of our business and those management aspects of managing our money that that helps us move to the next level. So Harlequin, I'm gonna, if there's anything in the chat, then let's take those questions, or anybody that has questions or comments, anything that I've covered or not covered that you have questions about. Now's the time to ask questions. You can raise your hand on the virtual hand raise there.
All right, there is a question in here, and Ellen, I'm going to go ahead and answer because I just went onto the website to confirm this.
Okay, what you got?
Somebody was asking, when is the government ending the filing of the ERC program? So when is the deadline on it? Evidently, the IRS is kind of being a little bit vague about this. I've heard some people, normally it's 2 years to 3 years from the original date that you filed your taxes. So if you're looking at the quarterly, some places are saying that some of the deadlines start for your 2020 later on this year, but most people are thinking that it's going to be April 15th of 2024 for your 2020 taxes and 2025 for your 2021 taxes. So it's coming up, but we still have a little bit of time.
That's correct. It's 3 years from the time that the taxes were due. So your 2020 taxes were due on April the 15th of 2021. 3 years from that. So 20.
Yeah, except these are payroll taxes.
Sorry.
Payroll tax deadlines are different from your overall tax deadline. So that's why there's confusion on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Guys, we got a whole year 23 and we're not in a deadline this year. It's coming up next year. I would just say create a sense of urgency about getting after this, and don't worry about something that's way off in the future. Worry about what's here in front of you right now, which is the opportunity to go get a bunch of clients and help a bunch of people get that money that most don't know about. Okay, James, I'm going to ask you to unmute. What do you have for us tonight?
Hey, hello everybody. Happy Monday. I don't know who on here was not on the locker room this morning, but it was just hands down outstanding. Okay, if you haven't, if you weren't there, go there now. Well, not now, but when we get done. All right. If you were there, I would suggest that you go back and just listen to it again, because there's some serious gems in there. What I thought was really, really interesting was the what do you call it? A role play that was done that focused on the ERC. The opening, look at Shelton. Shelton's head's going, yeah, right. I guess you watched the same one I watched, right? But okay, the opening line was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Okay. Now, I don't know who has noticed. Okay, Ellen, you know how I am. Okay, you're for the high view, I'm for the detailed view, right? Okay, our overview page, if you've noticed, it's better. It's pretty much got everything listed straight down the page, almost exactly like a landing page that you would have in front of what you're doing. If we use the ERC as our lead-in, and if you have a URL that you're using and you take it to the overview page, the very first thing that they're going to see is the ERC. They can click on that big picture there, the image, take them straight to the ERC page. Or if they scroll down to the first section, it's the ERC page. If there's anything else that you want to focus on to emphasize, every single business that we talk to now with the ERC lead, we have an opportunity to show them that we can get them some money without it costing them anything. And we can show them the numbers in writing, because that's what happens from ERC Pros is at the end, when they get the real number, after 10 to 14 days, they're going to send them an email, and the email is going to show it, and it's going to have that that packet for to help in the event that there's an audit later on. They're going to have all that, so we can show them in writing that that's what we offer. And then anything else that you want to show them from DAC, because DAC got an offer too. And the offer that DAC has is everything that's on that overview page. So if you just go down the page and pick whatever you want to pick that you want to feature or that you want to show afterwards, it's okay, because it's right there on that page. Most of the time when we see, things going on, it's about choosing what you want to focus on, and then creating a URL or, email hyperlink, or however you're doing it, to the page that you want to emphasize. Well, that's fine too. But if you notice, about the last month, 3 or 4 weeks, when we come to our Zoom right here, Ellen is emphasizing more of the phone call, having them on the phone. Okay. Now that's different than doing email. That's different than doing social media. You got them on the phone. Okay. Now picture this. If you got a person on the phone and you take them to the overview page, they got the overview page on their computer. You got the overview page on your computer, but you're on the phone. So you can see the exact same thing that they can see, right? Do you have that picture in your mind? They're over there. You're over here. You're on the phone. You're looking at the same thing that they're looking at. You can guide them down the page. Let's say that you start with the ERC. As soon as the page, I'm talking about the overview page now, for example. As soon as that page opens, the ERC is right there, bang. So you just have to tell them, click that image right there. It goes to the ERC page. Well, let's say that you've, gotten through explaining that, but you want to show them processing, All you have to tell them is, let's go back. Just click your back arrow, get back to the overview page, scroll down to the bottom, see right there where it says payment processing, and you can go right into payment processing, because you can see the same thing that they can see, and it's all just right down that page. Maybe you want to do, you're asking them, because you just gave them a freebie, some money's coming in 6 months, do you know anyone that, struggling to get equipment financing? Well, yes, I do. Oh, great. Well, let me show you what we have for that. And you take them right back. But see, that doesn't happen if you don't have them on the phone.
Right.
But the only reason that I'm bringing this out is because the way that David did the role play today, I hadn't heard it all this time, of the advantages of getting a business owner on the phone. And if you really think about it, if you can't get the business owner on the phone, you can get the office manager on the phone. She can get the information to the owner. Anyway, you got them on the phone talking about something that is theirs. It's theirs. We're going to get them to it. We're going to get that money in their hand. It comes in the owner's name.
It does. Great stuff, but in the essence of time, I want to get through some questions here. But you are spot on. Use the website. Everything you need is right there in front of you guys. But the phone conversation is where the magic happens. It really, really does. You're going to get some smaller fundings, and you're going to get some applicants through posting, social media, advertising, and all of that. But the bigger deals happen when a conversation happens. So thank you, James. I'll come back to you. Okay. All right, Shelton, let's ask you to unmute.
Hello, Ellen. How you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Thank you. James pretty much answered my question because I was going to ask about because I know people don't know about me, but last year in February I got in a semi truck accident. My right arm's been messed up, and I'm still waiting for surgery on it. But that's what I was going to ask because I still live so far from town. Is the calling method, because I usually am a person that does it in person, is the calling method going to be a good way of doing it? Because that's not my norm. My norm is usually in person. Is that just as effective? And he pretty much just answered that. But I do have another question. To help people get into the group, can we by chance set up where we do some of that role play, where we actually get together as groups or whatever, Zoom call, however we want to do it, and as a team, and get people into the motions of making those calls, getting the habit and the routine and learning the terminology that might be really good to use?
Yeah, absolutely. And great question. And something that Harlequin and I have talked about doing is doing some of those small groups. David talks about doing the small groups and your groups of 12 or whatever, but we're all over the country. So yeah, absolutely. We can do that. Harlequin, can you please make a note and remind me to get this scheduled, and we'll just put it out. Whoever can join and participate. And if you can't, then we'll have the recording. You can learn from the recordings, and then we'll do it again where you have an opportunity to be on there live. Okay, but absolutely. We did some role play last week on our Zoom. I think it was last week. Kind of went through what to say. Maybe it's 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yep, having conversation with a business owner. But you talk about being face to face there, Shelton. That's a great point. I'm here, and you guys, if you're paying attention to my Facebook post, you're seeing that I'm very involved in my local Chamber of Commerce. I volunteered. It's a volunteer basis, but you have to go through an interview process and be selected. Okay. I did their leadership. It's called Leadership Paulding, which is an annual deal. They've been doing this for 30-something years, where they have different members of the chamber that go through a leadership class. I signed up for that and was elected to or accepted into the program. So I'm doing that. That's a 12-month program. And then when it came time for them to have new ambassadors for the 2023 year, I signed up for that as well. Then we went through an interview process, and then we went through responsibilities, and they're like, okay, they kept weeding people out, and then they narrowed it down to who the ambassadors were going to be. And I'm one of the ambassadors for my chamber. So with all that said, I'm very busy in my local community, but most of my work, Shelton, is done right here from my home office on the phone. Okay. Because it doesn't make good use of my time to be out driving around, running around, doing appointments and calling on people, when I can make appointments by phone and then set up a productive meeting. I'm doing one-on-ones where I'm doing a luncheon or something where I'm getting to know business owners better, especially those that are in the chamber, that are in the leadership group with me, or those that are part of the ambassador group, just because we're already connected. We know each other, and we're getting to know each other better. So I'm doing those one-on-ones with them, so they really get a feel for who I am and how my business works. So it helps train them to keep their ears peeled for someone that needs the help. If they're in a conversation with a business owner and they're going, have you been hearing that thing on the radio about the employee retention credit? Do you know what that is? And they're going, employee retention credit. I just had lunch yesterday with Winn, and we were talking about the employee retention credit, right? So those kinds of things you can do by phone and don't always have to be on the one-on-one, but definitely a great idea to do the role play sessions, and we can definitely schedule that. In fact, we can do some this week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the suggestion. Hey, Lisa, what do you have for us tonight?
Hi, Ellen. I just had a question regarding the issue that we were having with the financing that I had emailed you about earlier. And I got a message back, but they came and asked what kind of loan it was. And I'm like, which kind of concerned me because it's like it was an asset loan, and then they were asking
I
like,
saw that email, and you and I need to talk offline on that. I saw your email
okay,
because I've had timeline constraints. I didn't have a chance to reply to it, but I saw it and I'm going, okay, support's not going to know 100% what this is about. And I almost replied all back to that, but I'll address that with you offline. Okay.
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
It's not really an issue. I don't want to paint that issue with the whole team here.
Okay,
It's a follow-up process with a single client. So we'll address that, and it's nothing for the rest of the group to be concerned
okay.
with.
And the other thing I was going to ask you on the update of the system, I just went into there to make sure mine was set up. It looks like they've already switched everything. The only thing that's missing are our contact information at the bottom that you were talking about.
At the bottom,
You said they would have our emails and it'll be at the bottom versus at the top. The email and phone numbers.
it won't be at the bottom.
Well, it's not at the top or the bottom right now. It's,
Yeah, I may have misstated that. Harlequin was talking about how it was going to look.
It's not, are you looking at it on your cell phone?
no. I put both on my computer and my cell phone. It was there earlier today, but now it's changed where it's a dark DAC versus the white. And now but my contact information is not there anymore.
Excuse me, Ellen.
Yes.
Okay, David just posted in the group that the DAC site migration just happened, and there's some refreshing things that need to be done. So I think that's what she's referring to, is that the complete refresh has not been done, but he just posted it right now that the migration has happened.
Awesome. Okay.
That was it.
Yep.
Mm.
Yes, it may take a little bit. I don't know. Thank you, James, for bringing that to our attention, and Lisa for the question. I was playing around in the background there on the website. So any of you, if you've ever bought a domain name and you've forwarded a domain name or you've done any changes on a web address, it takes a little while for that to populate across the World Wide Web and be able to communicate, because you've got all these points across the whole globe, and it takes a little while for that to propagate. They always say it could take 24 hours, but I don't see that it's going to take that long for this to happen, but they're going to have to reload some stuff. And just disregard me saying 24 hours, because that's not going to happen with what they've got going on. But yeah, it'll take a minute. But thank you, James, for pointing that out.
That's it.
I can see that the site looks a little bit brighter, and we're going to see some good things with it. So good stuff. All right, let's see who else we have. Josh Bryant. Joshua, what do you got? Number one recruiter. Oh my gosh.
Hey there. Yeah, sorry, my brain turned to Play-Doh as soon as Lisa made that comment. I pulled up my other screen, turned it on, and I'm over here playing around. It looks fantastic what they're doing, and it's more responsive. They've got better back-end servers, obviously, for the responsiveness. We just all have to stay calm and relax, because you guys were right when I tripped out about it in the first migration, and that was unplanned. But this migration is planned. Everything will replicate as long as you're doing exactly what Ellen says and what David says. I'm not worried about it. I checked, none of my stuff works either, but I know it will tomorrow probably. So it's nothing to be worried about. Just take a break. Call it, a day that you've worked too hard this week and you need a break. My question was actually kind of along the lines of the conversation you've been having with the past couple of commenters. So, I find I'm a systematic approach kind of person when I approach any venture. And, up until this point, it was getting all my marketing materials printed, made, dispersed to my team and stuff like that locally. building all the systems online, making sure they work, test them, and then test them under stress, make sure they work, and they do. So my next step, since I have all this material in, is to hit the streets. And I figured, the question would be for you or Harlequin, because I know you guys have a lot of, I would say, experience with it. And what are business owners apprehensive if you're just walking into there saying, hey, striking up a conversation? I'm really good with talking to people. I'm not worried about the conversational piece. I'm just worried about, maybe, is there any apprehension? Is this guy trying to sell me something? Because obviously I'm not. I'm just educating them on what we can do to help them. And would it work with a good hybrid system, cold calling businesses as well?
Absolutely. There can be some hesitancy from that business owner, and it really depends on your demeanor when you walk in the door and how you handle yourself. If you walk in with what we say, which is just walking in with a big smile on your face and saying, hey, I just wanted to drop by. I was next door visiting your neighbor, and I just wanted to stop in and introduce myself. I'm Ellen Winn. I own the Winn agency with David Allen Capital, and we're helping businesses like you get the employee retention credit. Did you guys get your refund back from the IRS on that? Up to $26,000 per employee. And start the conversation with something relevant to them. It's in the next door neighbor, or you happen to, you drive by here every day and you see them. But the hesitancy will come mainly from your demeanor and the way you handle yourself going in. I have been amazed at the number of local business owners here that, I talk to them about their credit card processing, and they go, I've had 3 people call me lately. So there's a lot of activity out there, and business owners are used to people calling on them. So they may push you away and may say, hey, thanks, but I'm not interested. But David shares in all of the one-on-ones that he's done, he's never had anybody be ugly to him other than the gym owner that his employee called him to the front, and David's sorry, I didn't know that was you back there, or I would have said, please don't call him. And I've never had anybody be ugly to me in that. Harlequin does a lot of one-on-one stuff. I don't know how much actual cold calling she does, walking into businesses, but she does a lot of networking and can elaborate on the networking approach. You want to do that, Harlequin?
Sure. I get very, very little negative feedback from people. It just depends upon how you handle it and how you approach them. Like this weekend, I was at a big home show, and I walked around to all of the booth owners and started talking to them. And I didn't have a single one get upset with me, and there were 150 vendors there at least. And, even going in, sometimes when if you are going cold calling and you physically go into somebody's place of business, always be mindful. And I did this at the home show as well. If they have a customer there, don't be trying to talk to them and trying to promote something to them. Be respectful, and their goal for being there is to make money. It's not to talk to us. So you have to be aware of that. And if you're talking to somebody, if you call somebody on the phone, ask them, is now a good time to talk? Because they may have 5 customers standing in front of them and you don't know that. And they'll go, and if they do and you start talking to them, they're going to go and say, hey, I'm not interested, and hang up on you, because that's not where their focus is. So you've got to be mindful of what they're doing, and just approach it with, hey, I'm just here to introduce myself, and if I can be of help to you, let me know.
Yeah, and I don't know why you would get pushback other than interrupting their workflow there. Like Harlequin said, be mindful of customers. Think of it this way. We're giving away information. We're giving away.
Absolutely. you cut off there for a second, Miss Ellen. But yeah, out of all of my
Actually,
years,
you know what? We've totally lost her.
oh no.
Yeah.
Um,
Bye-bye.
oh geez. Should I wait till she gets back?
Yeah, well, we can, until she gets back in,
Okay.
we can keep on going. I don't know
Sure.
what happened.
Well, in all of my years in business for myself before I found DAC, I never would, solicit, I guess would be the word, because I would feel a negative connotation about that going into a business. But with all of what we do, it just feels so different. We're not trying to sell anything to anyone at any given moment. We're just trying to help them know what options are available, because a lot of business owners are so busy in the day-to-day operations, working 7 days a week. They don't know that they can get these credits, or they don't even know that funding outside of their banks are available, which is why I came to the conclusion that, a hybrid solution of, cold calling via phone or walking into different businesses may be a good solution. And I'm going to take my local team. I have a local team that I'm building, and of course a national team. And anytime I'm going out, I'm going to take members of my local team with me, just to help everybody get on the same page. And I just think it's the best opportunity to build trust and rapport with business owners by physically being there in person, because in this day and age, with all the digital marketing and so many people trying to scam people, there is no better way to build that trust than being in person, shaking a hand and saying, hey, I'm here to help you if you ever need it. I hope you don't. Hopefully your bank can help you, but if no one else can, here I am. And that would be my approach. And I came and reached out to you all for that, because I knew you would have something real witty to say, and Miss Ellen would too. And both of you guys together saying exactly what you said is everything I needed to hear. So that will be the spill I give out tomorrow all day.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Yep. Okay. And Carmen, what kind of question do you have? You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
I was wondering a couple things. One of them was, I go to this girl that she's a barber, but she bought a barber shop, and so now she didn't want to be a barber shop, so she became a anybody shop, and but she doesn't have any employees, and the building is owned she owns her building, but it's connected to another one, so they have the same heater or air conditioner unit. So she can't get anything unless the other person agrees. So, and she doesn't have any employees. So I didn't know if she's even eligible for an ERC.
No, she's not. I had answered that in the
Okay.
chat. Yeah, without W-2 employees that are not the owner and not immediate family members of the owner, that's what it's calculated on. So there's no eligible employees. The other thing is that she would have had to have owned the business before the end of 2021.
Okay.
Now there is an exception if she purchased the business as well as all of the assets and liabilities.
Okay.
Then she can apply for when the previous owner owned it. Otherwise, if she just bought the shell of the business and not the actual assets, or the debt and all of that stuff, then the previous owner would be able to do it if they had W-2 employees. But yeah.
And the other question was, what was it about? It was, I forgot now. It was when that guy was talking, it reminded me of something else. Oh, I can't think of it now. Maybe I'll think of it. How long is this going to be? Another 5 or 10 minutes so I can think?
Yeah, you can go ahead and think. If you think of it, just raise your hand back up.
All right, thank you.
And Miss Ellen decided to show back up with us. We missed you, Miss Ellen, but we just kept on going, and you're muted.
There we go. Yeah, thank you. And
Oops, you've got your other microphone on, so we can hardly hear you.
no, I have the same mic on that I had earlier.
Okay.
Let me look.
Maybe move it closer to you because it's very, very low.
Let's try that. Is that better?
Oh, yeah, that'll
Okay.
do it.
Yep, that's the same mic. Yeah, thank goodness for having co-host options on Zoom. So that kept the Zoom going live. My computer just shut down. It did that today during the DAC Zoom earlier, and I'm in process of getting a new system. I've got a couple that I'm looking at, and looks like I need to narrow it down tomorrow to go ahead and get that. I'm just out of memory and all of that, so it doesn't have enough power to run anymore for me. So thank you for taking that and answering those questions, Harlequin. Is there anything that left off? I know I was saying we're giving away information when we walk in, so people shouldn't be turning you away. And you know, like we're a trusted advisor coming in the door, right? That's what PK says. She says a long industry history in the industry and banking. And when she comes in, if there's a no soliciting sign on the door, she's not soliciting. She's not trying to get anybody to buy anything. She's a trusted advisor. And I believe that we are too, if you know your stuff about DAC. So be a trusted advisor and be welcomed when you walk in the door. The more conversations I have with business owners, the more appreciative they are of the information that I'm sharing with them. And we have information with every service that we offer. We have information that is unique and not something that they're going to find at their local bank. So open your mouth, share the word. And back to the ERC conversation, I think it's so important that we talk to those business owners, because there's some companies out here, there's some great ones, but there's some companies that aren't doing things the right way. And it's almost daily I hear someone talking about how a CPA said, no, you don't qualify, or someone said, yeah, there's a lot of scams out there. I know I shared this with you, Harlequin, but here in Georgia, we have the University of Georgia with our Bulldogs, the national champions, right, for the college football playoffs there. They have a small business administration inside the state of Georgia. It's not their administration. I forget the acronym for it, but they have units all over the state of Georgia, and they are there offering free services to the small business community. What is a small business? A small business is any business up to 500 employees, which is the majority of businesses out here today. And they, through that free service and free advice that they give, they help businesses create their business plan. They help them create their financial strategies. Back during PPP and the EIDL loans, they were helping businesses qualify for the PPP, the EIDL. And he said, and now we're working with businesses, making sure they're aware of the ERC. So after our meeting was over, when he was our guest speaker, I went up to him and had a one-on-one conversation. And I said, so Todd, tell me what you guys, how you guys feel and how you look at the ERC program. And he said, I said, because that's one of the programs that we offer, and that's one of the services that we offer to our clients. And he said, oh, every business owner out there needs to know about the ERC. He said, there are a lot of scams, and that's the first thing that he led to. He said, so we caution people to be careful of who they're dealing with. He said, but we tell every one of our small business owners that they need to get an experienced person to review their information to see if they qualify for the ERC, because it is stimulus money. It's their money to get back if they qualify for it. And we encourage every one of the business owners out here to at least make sure that they do or don't qualify for it through an experienced and knowledgeable CPA firm or organization that's specializing on those. So thumbs up from a statewide expert here, okay, that I was speaking with, not me, but Todd there with the University of Georgia Small Business Team. So it's real. And what, you know, so many times a new agent gets started with us and they talk to someone and they're going, oh, I've heard it's a scam and all that. Don't listen to unexperienced and uninformed or misinformed people. Do not let those folks tear down your possibility of helping a business owner and your possibility of making an outrageous income over the next 24 months by helping business owners with the employee retention credit. So that's my say on that. All right, anything else before we wrap up? Joshua, did you have a question or that was just thumbs up on the comments there? Thumbs up? All right, awesome.
Yeah, we still have a couple people with their hands up, Ellen.
Okay, I'm just not seeing them on my end here.
Maybe scroll up. Charles is the first one.
You want to ask Charles to unmute?
Hi, can you all hear me?
We can. Hey, Charles, how are you doing tonight?
Great, how are you?
Excellent, thank you.
I'm brand new. I was brought in through Jessica Saxton, and I'll be working with her on content. I have 92,000 followers on LinkedIn. And what I was wondering is, what are the top 3 performing industries, segments, whatever you categorize them as, in your own personal experiences that you believe there are plentiful amounts of businesses that could participate? And then the flip side of that question is, what are the least performing that you believe all of us as agents of DAC have an opportunity to pursue that may have a high amount of conversion?
Okay, and you're talking specifically on the employee retention credit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think, and from my experience and just talking to different people, that the restaurant industry is probably your #1 industry to go after. Because if you think about what happened during COVID and the industries that were shut down, restaurants were the first ones. Either they got shut down completely or they had to change their entire operation and evolve quickly to be in curbside only or carry out and delivery, where that might not have been their model. But restaurants are going to be huge for you. The least likely is going to be some in the medical space, because those continued on and they got government supplement dollars, right? Because everybody was sick and they were coming in. On the other side of that, we did have some home health care and some nursing facilities that may have been limited on being able to rotate out and bring in new customers. But I would go with the low-hanging fruit, which is your restaurants. They're also going to be the ones that, you know, my whole thing on leading with the ERC is that whether they've qualified, don't qualify, or they've already gotten their money, right? It always is a great door opener, and it leads to the conversation of, oh, by the way, we also offer quick turnaround working capital, and we do equipment financing. So if you need cash to expand or grow your business, we're going to be your best alternative resource if your bank can't help you. And get that conversation going, letting them know. And then while you're there, you know, kind of look around and look at their counter and see what their credit card equipment looks like. And if they've got old, outdated equipment on their counter, maybe not have that conversation there. That might be a secondary conversation with them as you're building a relationship. But you've got a lot in that view when you walk in the door of things that you can have a conversation with and ask them how their operations are going. So thank you for coming on and asking your question. You've joined with a great lady. We love Jessica. She's very sharp. She's very talented. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do, what you can do with your leads. And welcome to DAC. Welcome to our DAC family. We're excited to have you here tonight.
Thank you. Did you have a chance to think about the other part of my question? So those are the best performing conversions. What would be the worst ones that you believe?
The least likely is in the medical space. You know, again, think of those that kept on going as usual. Harlequin asked today specifically on our leadership Zoom about the construction industry, because a lot of that was considered essential business, right? But still, some of those essential businesses were impacted because government mandates shut down part of their supply chain, and they had to switch over how they were operating. Or the example David gave, well, if they built one house a year and that's all they built during COVID, they weren't impacted. But if they normally built 20 houses and they were only able to build 5 during COVID because that supply chain impacted them and it was government mandates that shut them down, then they've got proof that they were affected there. But the low-hanging fruit, and you're gonna find millions of restaurateurs across the country. Restaurants, gym owners, you know, they couldn't have people come in. So any business where they had patrons that their main business flow was dependent on people walking through their door and coming into their establishment to do business with them.
Thank you so much.
Anything on that, Harlequin? Suggestion?
Well, first off, Charles, I want to say welcome. You're actually on part of my team as well. So Jessica is one of the people on my team. But no, I was trying to see, I know we had discussed different industries whenever we had our initial training, and I was trying to go through the slides real quick to see if they had anything listed. But a couple of other good industries are churches and nonprofits, because a lot of them don't realize that they were eligible, and churches were shut down for quite a while, and especially in a lot of places. And also daycares and independent schools, privately owned schools were also impacted.
Yeah, I have 2 local restaurants around the corner from me. One of them has 2 locations. They've qualified for over 400,000 back. And another one is a small mom and pop, and they've qualified for 13,000 back. So the nonprofits, yes. A church, unless it's a really large church, they're probably not going to have a lot of employees. So it depends on whether you're wanting to target all of those businesses, or you're wanting to target businesses that have a larger number of employees. Obviously, the more employees, the bigger the refund, the bigger the commission. But yeah, you've got some good information as a lead there. But yeah, thank you for your question. All right, was there somebody else that had a hand up that I can't see, Harlequin?
Yeah, there's several. Carmen has her hand up. I think maybe she remembered what her question was.
Yeah, I was wondering, she has I'm not sure if she has a square on her phone when you use a debit card or credit card. And he said that we use something else, Sphere, I think. And I want to know, do you know if that would be cheaper than Square?
Depends on their volume. Yeah, if they're doing at least 4,000 a month in credit card processing, then we can save them money through our processing with DAC. If they're not doing at least 4,000, then it's not gonna be cost effective for them.
Okay, all right, thank you.
In fact, I've used Square, and I have our Sphere payment processing for my limousine company. And I run those numbers every single day. And we beat Square with our processes, with our features and pricing. So yes, it's a win-win as long as they're doing at least $4,000 a month.
Okay, cool, thank you.
It's a win-win. I like that. All right, thank you, Carmen. All right, Harlequin, if you'll call on the next one, because again, I can't see them.
Okay, we got James Doswell.
Okay. Win-win. All right. You mentioned PK earlier. Okay. It just makes sense that our resident banker pro would come up with a nice comeback. Okay, we're not trying to say something that you don't want or need. We're just trusted advisors.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, and she's a business consultant, and she's done that for years since she's left the banking industry, and she charges big money to consult with businesses. So, think about the value that we can bring to a business owner just through what we learn with David Allen Capital, and over time, the experience that you run into from having conversations with business owners and learning more from DAC. You really are becoming a trusted advisor, at least in our niche, right? As long as you plug in, follow the training, and give the client the correct information. And that's the most important thing, is giving them the correct information, setting proper expectations, and then you do become that trusted advisor because you give them the right information this time and it worked out. And then the next time they're going to be calling on you when they've got another question. I had that happen with one of my ERC clients. Walked him through, helped him with ERC. We applied for a line of credit and funding. He got approved, but as he and I looked at it together, he had a better funding offer through he actually had a line of credit already that would give him as much money as he needed and as much as he could get through the funding offer. And what he had on the line of credit was cheaper than the funding offer, because the line of credit is usually going to be much cheaper than the working capital. So I told him, I said, you know, unfortunately, what I'm offering you today isn't any better than what you have. So I would just stick with what you have. And I told him, don't even move our way. Don't consider it. You know, he probably wouldn't have, but I was just upfront with him about that, and he appreciated it. So, you know, every time I talk to him, I'm asking him, you know, how's this going? Have you thought about that? And this all comes from my business experience since 1997, but he has said more than once, he said, Ellen, I'm going to have to put you on my payroll. He said, I always get something great when I talk to you. So be that kind of person to your business owners, and they'll keep coming back time and time again. And you'll be top of mind when they're talking to a friend who is asking about the ERC or funding. You'll be the first person that they think of if you become that trusted advisor. Right, James?
He muted himself.
Yep. Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Is there anybody else with questions before we wrap up?
Oh yeah, we still have 2 more questions plus something in the chat. So
Okay.
Bruce Campbell is next. You want to
Hey,
unmute?
Bruce, how are you tonight?
Hey, hi, Alan. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. You're looking great as ever.
Thank you.
I had a question that didn't have anything to do with the ERC, but David mentioned that we will be bringing something new to the platform in regards to attorney services.
Mhm.
Do you know when that would be occurring? Right now, I just inherited. I'm a multimillionaire now, so I've been a
Fortunately,
few.
somebody, well, it may not have been a family member that passed. A lot of times people that we know pass on to others, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, my pop has passed away after 96 years old,
Oh,
and
wow. Sorry to hear that.
yeah, I'm going to be a little bit tied up with all the assets of $187 million. So it's going to be a tough one. But I'm really like now searching like crazy for attorneys that specialize in probate and so forth. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's why I'm asking the question.
Sure. Well, we're going to be launching that service very soon. Okay. And what it is it's a nationwide law firm that specializes in helping people. We're going to have some free services. We're going to be giving away services, and then they're going to do contingency lawsuits. I don't have any more details other than what I just said. That's what David has shared with us. But I anticipate that coming out very quickly. They were waiting for the website to get to where we could track all of that. The contracts are signed and it's ready to go. You can certainly send in an email to support@David Allen Capital and ask that question and tell them that you're in need of some support there. And
Thank you.
if it's not going to be a quick enough timeline, I've got a solution for you as well. So, but try going through support first. Okay.
Oh, very good. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You
Bless
bet.
you.
You
Have
bet.
a great. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you, Bruce. All right. And I see Eric now. I pulled up the participants, Harlequin, and I can see who's got their hand up. Normally I see them across the top.
Is Ellen?
Yeah. All right. Hey, Eric, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Ellen, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Oh, okay. I just had a quick question because I don't want to take up too much people's time tonight. I came in like kind of at the tail end when you were talking about the ERC, like how we get funded, and I just wanted to make sure that I was hearing it correctly. Were you saying that we get paid off of the contingency fee, the 3 to 4%, or the funding amount?
Yeah, so I went through some slides, right? Because the way that we present how we earn as agents in our business opportunity, we say that we earn 4 to 6% of the refund amount that the client receives, right? But I went through that tonight, Eric, because most of our competitors in this space where they're recruiting agents to talk to business owners about the ERC, most of our competitors present that in a different way.
one, for example, presents that you as an agent will earn 10%, right? So when they hear 10% from them and 4% from us, they're going, oh, well, they're going to make more money over here because they're paying 10%. But that 10% is actually off of the contingency fee. If you look
okay.
apples to apples, DAC pays you 20 to 30% of the contingency fee, which equates to 4 to 6% of what the client receives back as a refund. So I did a slideshow tonight. You'll have to watch the replay. I did a slideshow that shows you what percentage breakdown it is and what percentage of the contingency fee it is. So it really makes more sense. And hopefully it clarifies that confusion that could possibly be out there. Again,
Okay.
wanting people to see apples to apples. So when you hear another company is paying 10% or 15%, the question is of what? Are they paying that of what the client receives back, or are they paying that out of what they charge the client in the contingency fee? So
Okay, gotcha. And just wanted to let you know that we have a new team member tonight. His name is Michael. You probably saw it in your back office. So he's energetic and he's ready to go. So
awesome. Well, welcome, Michael. Glad you're here and partnered up with Eric. You've got a great enroller there, great sponsor. Eric is plugged into this business. He's had some deals and ready to rock and roll for 2023. So thanks for your question, Eric, and congratulations.
all right, thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you. All right. Anybody else there, Harlequin?
Yeah. Kemba was looking for the recommended business list and she can't find it in the Agent Resource Center, and trying to do that while I'm doing this. Do you happen to remember where exactly it is now? Because I know it got moved when we moved things around.
The preferred industry list for funding?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see if that comes up when you do a search, because we've got a search feature there on the Resource Center. And you know what? I've got the old.
And while you're looking for that, Joshua Bryant said, and just so everybody knows, when you go into your new back office, you have to ask to reset your password.
Same as when we did it before. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Good point
He
there.
said it looks sweet.
Good. I can't wait to see it and start checking out what we have. Yeah, let's see. Agent Resource Center. I got to change that link. So business capital. And I'm going to go up to the little search there and do preferred and search. Yep. And I searched the word preferred and it came up business funding. And yep, it is under the business funding section of the Agent Resource Center. If you go down to the very bottom of the page, not very bottom, but under the brochures section, and scroll down there, there's a preferred. Oh wait, that's the preferred plan. Never mind. That's not the preferred client list. I don't see it specifically.
Yeah, I took a brief look and I didn't. Oh, she found it.
Okay, good. Where is it?
Kemba, where did you find it? Oops, no, she said, no, I didn't.
Yep, it was the preferred pricing plan. Exactly what that was. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. It may have gotten moved or be moved over to be updated. So.
Hey, Ellen, can I ask a question?
You certainly can. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Thank you. Quick question regarding the shirt you're wearing. I have the old one that has David Allen Capital Inc. Can we still wear that, or do we still do the DAC independent agent?
If you have a shirt that has that, I would wear it. I would absolutely wear it because that was material that was out there at one point.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you're leave behind, just make sure you've got your independent agent, or letting them know. Like I say, I own an agency with David Allen Capital, and I haven't done an LLC or any of that. That's just how I'm presenting myself now. It makes sense, and people get it that I'm an independent agency owner with them and not an independent agent. But yeah, I would wear it. Absolutely. You bought it through DAC, then keep wearing it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Sure.
And talking about the shirts and clothing, we're going to have a new vendor here real soon. That'll be coming back online. So those of you that are wanting to order will be able to in the very near future.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you bet. Joshua's got his hand up again. What you got, Joshua?
So sorry, I just want to make another comment. They outdid themselves with this site is what they did. I've been browsing over here for the last 30 minutes. So, the only drawback that we had on their onboarding process was there was a bit of redundancy. There was a short video, you click join, long video, click join. They combined it into one page, both videos, you click join one time, you're in there, right? And then you can fill out the form. They fixed the form. I had 7 people trying to join this week that had a problem because it gave you the explanation of type the website, and it gave you the example of how you want your website to look. Well, they would type the domain / their ID when all we were wanting on the form was them to just type the ID they wanted. They fixed all that on this form. And the other thing that they fixed is when you click join, when they made the first migration to the new site before this site, they had it to where you had to click choose this kit. You know what I'm saying? And it looked a little funny. It's like, why am I choosing a kit? I'm trying to apply it. They fixed all that, and they made it to where you click free enrollment. You ain't choosing a kit. You're enrolling for free. They did it. I'm sorry. I'm hyped up because this is exciting. They're killing.
No, that's awesome. And that was pick this kit was because the back office that we had, remember David said that's a company that runs Avon, and they're still a product-based company. So I can't wait to get off of this Zoom and go check it out.
Yes,
So
I'll let you go.
Guys, unless we have any more questions, we'll call it a night. I'll get this replay back out to you guys along with the Zoom from the leadership Zoom today. Take time to watch both of those, and then look for some upcoming updates this week on the compensation plan and more. All right. Wrapping up, James Doswell, one more time there. What you got?
I just want to ask Josh one question. Tell us how you really feel, man.
I feel fantastic. I've worked 7 days this week. I've pulled about 80 hours and I feel great. I'm about to go to the gym.
Excellent.
I know how that is.
All right, guys. I love you guys. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so excited that you're part of our organization. We're going to do some great things. 2023 is going to be amazing. And I hope each and every one of you bring a few people along for the ride with you, or in Joshua's case, a whole bunch of people along for the ride. All right, man. Y'all have a great evening. We'll see you on the next Zoom. Take care.